Hello, and thank you so much for joining me here for this webinar on how nonprofit organizations can use Google Ad grants to help themselves grow. My name is Ian Campbell. I am the CEO of Mission Suite. Just to kind of do some housekeeping real quick, you'll see on the right-hand side of the screen here, of your webinar screen, that there's a place for you to submit questions. I encourage you to do so throughout the webinar. We will not be answering questions live, just in the interest of time. I want to be respectful of your time, so we won't be answering questions live, but I will get an email with those questions after you submit them. So feel free to submit them, submit questions as we go along, and then I will be sure to respond to them, or someone from my team will be sure to respond to them as soon as possible. So real quick, we'll talk a little bit about me, and I'll keep this brief, I promise. I have been in marketing and development for almost 20 years now. I have spent about the last 7 years or so focusing on using technology specifically for marketing and development. So what does that mean? It's CRM and donor management tools, marketing automation, using Google and Facebook and Twitter and all these different tech pieces that we have and what's known as this MarTech stack, if you will, to help nonprofit organizations build their organizations and grow their donor base, grow their volunteer base, build awareness, etc. So, first things first, I thought that I would kind of talk a little bit about the story behind Google's ad grants, so that we're coming at this from the same level. So some of you may know about this, some of you not. I don't know, but just to kind of kick this off, basically Google's ad grants is a pretty straightforward thing. It's $10,000 every month in pay-per-click ad spend for nonprofit organizations. So again, what does that mean? What that is basically, I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with pay-per-click, with Google Ads. When you do a search on Google, it's the top 3 results in the search page are typically advertisements, and they're promoted posts, and so that's what we're talking about. So each one of those costs money. The nice thing is you get to buy your way to the top of the to the top of a Google search, which is great. But $10,000 a month is quite a bit of money. But now here's the deal. There are some pretty strict rules that apply. And you have to make sure that you're using this stuff because, believe it or not, $10,000 can be pretty tough to spend if you're not, if you're not following Google's rules. So what are those rules? Well, first of all, your daily budget is $329, right? So that's $329 times 30 days-ish is $10,000. So that's first and foremost. Where it gets to be challenging is that your maximum cost per click is $2 per click, right? And that's really not a very easy number to hit in certain search terms. A lot of in some for-profit organizations, I mean, cost per click I personally have spent upwards of $10, $15, $20, $30 per click just to drive people back to Mission Suite. And so depending on the competitiveness of of the terms that you want to be going after, that $2 can be pretty limiting if you don't do it right. And then finally, the ad grants accounts, those ad grants accounts, so your account in ad grants has to maintain a 5% click-through rate every month. So at least 5% of the people that see your ads have to click on them. Otherwise, they're going to they'll ultimately remove the grant, and you'll have to go through and reapply, and kind of go through a bunch of hoops to make sure that you can actually get the job done. So. So like I said, so $10,000 a month is a lot in ad spend, and it's a great offer from Google. Don't get me wrong, but because of these strict rules, you have to make sure that you're doing it right. And doing it right can be pretty challenging, which is why I'm presenting this webinar. So first things first, setting up your Google Ad Grant, this is the easy part, right? You can actually just do a search for Google Ad Grants on Google itself, and you will find the page to click on, and so you'll be able to check that out, and you'll be able to sign up for them here. Google does a great job at actually guiding you through the process, and so it shouldn't be very difficult. Of course, there's people like me out there that can help you go through the process. along the way. Your nonprofit, if you're working with a marketing firm or a marketing consultant already, they should know how to go through this and should know how to set this up already as well. So just if you have any questions, if you're confused at all, talk to someone. You can even probably reach out to Google themselves, find out what to do. So the next one I want to do is I want to dive into kind of the main steps of actually using those grants, right? So setting it up is one thing. Again, like I said, it's a pretty straightforward process. Google is going to walk you through the process just on their screens. But the real question, the real thing that I want to address is how do you actually use these things? How do you actually go out and make sure that you're running a campaign? So first of all, step one. Step one is identifying your goals. Now, your goals, oftentimes, if I were to ask you, well, what's your goal of this marketing campaign? If you can't tell me that, then there's a problem, right? Then there's an issue, and we have to go back to the drawing board and kind of be a little bit more strategic about this. But specific to these paid ad campaigns, your goals tend to fall into one of three things, and I'd be willing to bet that more often than not, just in general, your goals are going to be one of these three things as far as marketing, your marketing efforts are concerned. So first of all, awareness, right? Making sure that more people know who you are, making sure that you have making sure that your brand is out there, that when people Google your name, that you come up first, and no one else is up there. Making sure that you have that awareness out there, so that you can serve more people, so that more people will know who you are, so to donate to you, so that they'll want to volunteer, or whatever the case might be. Which brings me kind of to the next thing, is the next specific goal is oftentimes donations. So getting people to open up their wallets in some way, right? And kind of creating, you're probably not going to find your next platinum donor from an ad campaign, from an AdWords campaign, but you could find maybe 100 people donating $10 a month, kind of a thing, right? And so building out that sort of a donation goal, knowing what that goal is, because again, we need something to measure against. The first step in any good campaign is to identify goals. So how are we going to measure that? Donations is a pretty clear one, right? So we're able to be pretty specific about that. And then finally, volunteers as a goal. And so those volunteers, those are going to be those, obviously, these are the people that you want, that are going to be helping you out, right? This is the labor that our people are offering you for free. Volunteers can be a huge goal when it comes to these ad spends, because again, you've got a great offer, a great group of people that might be interested in learning more about it. Because if people are searching on the words, on the key terms that relate to your organization, they're probably interested enough to at least do something. So making that a goal to do that is hugely important. So that's step one. So moving forward, I want to talk a little bit about the keys to creating an effective campaign. So some things that you need to know here. So first of all, pay-per-click works just like any other search does. Anytime you type a search term into Google, pay-per-click is going to work the same way. The only difference here is that you get to pay your way to higher rankings. So you get to pay your way to the top. So Google ranks ads in their paid search based on the combination of the ad itself and the page and the landing page that it's going to. So if your ad and your page don't align, then you'll end up spending more for each click. And there's a few more things that that you learn as you start kind of going through these pay-per-click spends that are important. Like, for example, the ad itself every word in the ad has to be capitalized, right? Things like that kind of create that ad relevance that they look for, and making sure that the landing page that you're sending them to is a good user experience, because Google is going to rank you based on that, and they have a ranking system 1 through 10. And if they rank you at 7, or if 7 is their average, right? So if they rank you at 7, that means that you're spending the average of what everyone else would be spending. If you rank lower than 7, that means you're paying a percentage more. If you rank higher than 7, that means that you're spending less per click, right? So again, going back to the idea that your max per click spend is $2 per click, then knowing these types of things are really important. So what does this mean? So first of all, of course, like I said, make sure that the landing page that your ad is pointing to is that is relevant for the key terms for which you're trying to rank. So if you want to rank for if you want to rank for Alzheimer's in Denver, you want to make sure that the landing page that you're sending people to is talking about the same thing, right? Is talking about Alzheimer's in Denver. Otherwise, you're going to have to spend more for it. And second of all, make sure that the ads that you're using are relevant to the key terms and to the landing page, right? So the key term, again, Alzheimer's in Denver, make sure that you're using that term in the ad itself, and make sure that the landing page and the ad both fit really well with one another. So next, building out your campaign. So this is, and again, I don't expect you to become an expert on this. I mean, I can certainly give you a full-on step-by-step masterclass in this, but that's going to be an hour and a half, 2-hour webinar, and that's something that you did. It's not what you signed up for today. So I'm not going to dive super deep into this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the key things that you need to know, that you need to be aware of while you're actually building out your campaign. So first of all, you're going to start with keyword research, right? So again, you're going back to the point where you want to have one goal for each campaign. So you can have multiple campaigns inside of your overall Google dashboard. I don't think I mentioned that before, but it's important to know that you can have one goal, one campaign for awareness, one campaign for donations, one campaign for one campaign for volunteers. Because you're able to do that. Yeah, I mean, obviously you have different ad sets and different purposes to it, but you're able to set up multiple campaigns inside of Google. So based on the idea that we're starting off with one of these goal campaigns, what we're going to do is we're going to we're going to find terms that are relevant to your organization and to one goal of your campaign. So how are we going to do that? So first of all, we're going to go out to, I mean, Google itself has a keyword research tool. You can use that. You can do a search on Google, and then they have all at the bottom of a Google search page, they have people also searched for style links, and then there's a number of other, I mean, everything from plugins to tools, both free and paid, that you can use to help build out your keyword research. So find one of those, right? So with Google, again, if you just do a search for Google keyword research and look for Google's keyword research tool, it's a good place to start. Believe it or not, it's not the best. There are other tools that are out there that are more accurate, that are more effective. But like I said, it's a great place to start. So next thing you're going to do is you're going to create a cluster of key terms that are similar to one another that you can use to create a landing page. So again, going back to this Alzheimer's in Denver idea, right? So there's going to be Alzheimer's in Denver is one key term, Alzheimer community in Denver, Alzheimer's help in Denver, Alzheimer's daycare in Denver, things like that. The ones so you're going to create this cluster of keywords that are all similar to one another, and can all be used, like I said, for the same purpose. So if your goal is to get more people to come to your adult daycare center for people with Alzheimer's, then adult daycare or Alzheimer's daycare in Denver could be could be a great starting point. And then you find other terms, and you kind of create a cluster, right? Make sure that they're as similar as possible to one another, because you don't want to have just general key terms mixed in with the specific ones, because that's going to water down your landing page. And you want to make sure that landing page, like I mentioned, is as accurate and is as effective as you need it to be, because that's going to keep your costs down, and that's going to help you stay below $2 per click. So next, building out your landing page. So you're going to write up one landing page for each keyword cluster. Again, this is all about making sure that the landing page itself is a great experience for that for that term, right? So that when Google looks at the term and the ad and then the landing page, they're saying, yes, this is all aligned, and this is the best user experience that I can offer to my users, to our searchers. So make sure that you write up one landing page for each keyword cluster. If you have 10 different keyword clusters, use 10 different landing pages, right? Don't try to skimp on this, because it really is important. I've personally seen how much of an impact a bad landing page experience can have on a pay-per-click campaign. Now, your landing page should focus on one goal or call to action, and this is just landing pages 101. Right? This is for if you're looking to optimize your conversion rate, you want to make sure that any of the landing pages that you're sending people to has one primary goal or call to action. Make sure that it's something like, donate now or volunteer today or whatever the case might be, because again, you don't want people distracted. You don't want people to thinking, oh well, I could do this or I could just do this, and this is a little bit less from me, less effort on my part, but it still helps the organization. Fantastic. I'll do this. I'll do the other one. Right? You want to focus on one clear goal, one clear call to action. Now, it's okay to do something like to include a secondary call to action, kind of like visit our website, or, hey, while you're there, look around and, see this, that, or the other thing, whatever the case might be. But just make sure that when you're building out the page, and have other people take a look at this too, to make sure that you get that feedback, that people are saying, yes, you know what, actually, this does give me a clear call to action. This does tell me, first and foremost, you want me to volunteer or you want me to donate. That's what it says to me, instead of, oh well, this tells me that you want me to donate or just go to the website, so I'll just go to the website, learn more. Right? So make sure that you have other people look at that too, because if you do have a secondary call to action like that, then you want to make sure that it doesn't interfere with that primary goal of the page. So you want to make the pages engaging and visual, right? So if you're in marketing or in biz dev for a nonprofit, or if you're a CEO, executive director of the nonprofit, this is something that you should be concerned about anyway for all of your landing pages. For any call to action or conversion based page that you have, you want to make sure that it's engaging and that it's visual, that there are pictures on it, that there's video on it, that there's a clear button on there, that it doesn't necessarily have to flash, but maybe it's like that the big orange button kind of a deal that makes people want to click on it. That can make people trigger something. So, and keep in mind, like it says here, you don't need me to read this to you, but no one reads websites from top to bottom. No one does anymore, right? It's just not the way that we're built anymore. It's not the way that we've been conditioned. People skim websites, so they need those visual cues to tell them what's important. And then, of course, like I mentioned, make sure that you include some sort of visible call to action, so that so that they know what you want them to do. Again, visual cues, clear call to action, right? So if it's just getting them to visit your website to learn more about your organization, just drop in a huge button to send them to the site. If you want them to fill out a form to ask for more information, include a contact form in there, so you can, so you can get people to fill that out. If it's about donations, then include a button, get them straight to the online donation form. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Try to collect more than that. But yeah, it's super important to make sure that you have some sort of a visible call to action, because otherwise people aren't going to know what to do. So that's your landing pages. Now, the next piece, and this is hugely important, is creating a follow-up system for any contacts that fill out your form. Because obviously you can't actually track people. I mean, you can't track and know who clicked on the link to go to the website. You can't know who clicked on the link to go to the donation form unless they actually go in and complete the form and whatnot. Then there's tracking systems that you can put in place to do that. But I'm going to focus more on the contacts that fill out your form, because this is kind of I guess a stage one conversion, if you will, that you can really leverage for that for ongoing marketing and ongoing outreach to these people that have shown interest for you already. So first of all, bear in mind that just because someone fills out your form or goes to your website, they're not necessarily going to be ready to do something. Right? Just because I go to your donation page, or I fill out the form and land on your donation page afterwards, I might want to donate, but right now cash is strapped and I don't have the money to do so. So I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to bookmark this. I'm going to come back later, right? Or I might want to volunteer, Same thing, but I just don't have the time right now. But it's a great organization, and I want to, I want to I want to start singing for the adult for the Alzheimer's daycare center, right? And I want to get them dancing, and help them help these people folks have a great time, that kind of a thing, right? But maybe I don't have time to do it right now. So having a follow-up system allows you to continue to touch these contacts on a regular basis, so that if they've shown interest in volunteering, or if they've shown interest in donating or anything like that, that you can have that follow-up system in place and keep touching on them, because that's going to help you to make sure that you're able to that you actually get that to it's going to increase your conversion rate, I guess, is kind of what I'm trying to say. It's going to help you make sure that the people that you're touching, the people that are filling out the form, even if they can't do something right now, you keep them engaged with you. You keep them pulled in. So what I recommend is writing up a series of follow-up emails. Do at least 3 to 5 of them, and make sure you have some sort of a system in place to send these emails at specific times, right? So it's gonna help you to make sure that your message stays in front of this person, and then it also helps to make sure that this person doesn't get fatigued by too much messaging too quickly, because that's another big issue, right? Because I've seen it time and time again, where people start to just pour messaging toward these folks that fill out a form or respond to an email or something like that, because they think that they're interested, but it's too much too soon, and as a result, I'm stepping back and I'm saying, well, okay, they're a little too needy for me, right? So have those first 3 to 5 emails, and then stagger them out, right? So like I said, you want to make sure to have a system in place that you can send them at specified times, but you don't want it to be more than a week apart, because you don't want them to forget you in the near term, right? You want to find that kind of good balance, and this is something that a good CRM and a good marketing automation system will help you to test along the way, so that you can try different things and see what works best. But usually, like I said, like I'm saying, I recommend staggering those first 3 to 5 emails just a week apart at most, and then anything that goes out after that, like newsletters, or maybe you've got just some kind of recurring check-ins or anything like that, you can create longer intervals for them, right? So newsletters maybe go out once a month, and then just kind of your quote checking in emails go out once every 6 weeks, or once every 8 weeks, or whatever the case might be. But yeah, making sure that you have that sort of follow-up system in place is super important, because otherwise you're going to be wasting time. Obviously, the money here isn't a big deal, because it's all Google's ad spend, but you're going to be wasting time, you're going to be wasting efforts, and you're going to be letting people slip through the cracks, and that's never good. Now, finally, creating your ads. Now, like I said, this is something that you can do. This is a challenging one, because this is something that requires actually requires a lot of knowledge inside of AdWords, and there are some great resources out there that you can review, that you can take a look at to see what we're looking for. So first of all, things like you can do a Google search for single keyword ad groups, which are time intensive, but they're more effective because they're super targeted to one key term, right? You've got to make more landing pages for them. You got to make more you got to make more landing pages for them. You got to create more ads, and do all that sort of stuff. But they can be really effective, right? So, but you've got to kind of make your decisions on those, and you got to do some research beforehand. There's another great website out there, a service offering called WordStream, that is all about paid advertising, and is all about Google AdWords and whatnot. And they've got a ton of resources on their blog that you can utilize for this, right? So, like I said, we're not here to give you a master's class in pay-per-click, but it's something that you should definitely know, because creating your ads can be one of the most important parts of this. So as you're going through creating your ads, so you're going to write up your headlines and ad text for each landing page, and you're going to use just like I said, keep in mind that the first things like the first word of each the first letter of each word in your ad has to be capitalized. right? Every single word has to be capitalized with that first letter, but it can't be completely capitalized because they'll ding you on that too. So make sure, but you're gonna go through these things and create them outside of the AdWords platform so that you can kind of prep everything, because when you start working inside of that new system, it's going to be you're going to be confused enough as it is. You don't want to have to build your ads out afterwards, right? You want to know what you're going to say before jumping into this. So remember to make sure that the ad directly relates to the landing page and to the keyword cluster that you've created. So again, I've kind of jumped up and down on this a few times. You want to make sure that this is that you're doing this, because otherwise you will end up spending more. Also, make sure to use the key term that you're trying to optimize for inside of the ad itself, inside of the description of the ad, because that's going to help keep your costs down too. So things like that, a couple tips that I've learned along the way. And like I said, there's a lot more. Check out, just do some research on it. Again, use Google to kind of just look up best practices and, like character length and things like that, because it's going to help you a lot. So if you do it yourselfer, make sure you spend the time. Look at things like WordStream. Look at do a Google search for single keyword ad groups. Do a Google search for best practices on creating pay-per-click ads on Google, because it's going to help you keep that ad cost down. And again, because you're limited to $2 per click, you have a challenge ahead of you. So all right, so that's kind of what I wanted to tell you about the Google Ad Grants. Some key insights on how to go about using them, how to go about leveraging them as best as possible. Everything from creating those ads, creating those landing pages. The follow-up system is so super important, because again, if you're not able to follow up with people, then you're pretty much wasting your time in getting all this stuff set up. So next thing I want to do, now that I've talked a little bit about that, is I want to tell you a little bit about how Mission Suite helps. And I'm not going to dive too deep into this. I'd love to talk to you more about this after this webinar is over. But at the very least, I want to tell you a little bit about how Mission Suite helps, because this will tell you what to look for in a system to help you to follow up on these AdWords, on these Google Ad Grant campaigns. So Mission Suite is a unified marketing platform. What that means and how it helps you, right? So first and foremost, our landing page builder. I mean, you can build out beautiful landing pages, and they're landing pages that convert, and you can do it quickly and easily. So what do I mean by that? You can create your sign-up forms. You can drop your sign-up forms directly onto the landing page, so that somebody hits the landing page, fills out the form, you're done, right? You can change colors, you can use a drag and drop system, all that good stuff. We've got a drag and drop sign-up form builder, so you can actually create those forms to implement in your landing pages to get those visitors to convert. And then you can create those big orange buttons, that say sign up now or volunteer today or whatever it might be. And so when people fill out that form, they click they click on that button, it automatically drops into your system, and then can be followed up on. And again, Mission Suite is all about creating that follow-up system. Next thing, email builder. Also drag and drop. So we're able to create beautiful email templates that you can send to everybody who fills out the form on your website, fills out the form on your landing page, right? So whatever it might be. So if they hit the landing page, they fill out the form, obviously you've got to say, hey, thanks for filling out our form at the very least. So this email builder is gonna allow you to create that email and brand it well, so that your brand gets to stick in their head once they move forward. Next, as I mentioned, having that automated follow-up system, right? So the follow-up system, I'm going to say this again, is such a big part of this, because you need to follow up with people. Our automation tools, they automate those emails, and you can create things based on a preset time delay. You can say that you can schedule it for a specific day of the year, day of the week, or even some sort of an interaction with other emails and other content on your website. So you really can build out an automated system that can be as basic as you need it to be, or as intricate as you want it to be, to make sure that your contacts are getting followed up on and getting touched, time and time again, to make sure that you're staying in front of them. And then finally, our CRM donor management system will help you keep all of your contacts, all your volunteers, donors, your sponsors. All those things will be kept into one place, and so that allows you to manage your organization's marketing and development inside of one system, right? And so this is a big thing. And so this last little phrase that I use on this page here is hugely important. So in one system. So I have seen, based on my own kind of anecdotal evidence, based on my integrations with our clients, I've seen that our clients that take Mission Suite and bring everything into one system, their productivity goes through the roof, their expenses go way down, and the return on their investment skyrockets, because now you're not working at night. You don't have to spend time or waste time creating integrations between one system to another. You don't have to waste time trying to log into this system or log into that one. You're not losing anything. No one's falling through the cracks because the MailChimp password got changed, but no one updated Salesforce with it. So things like that, you're able to truly keep everything inside of one system, and the result of that means that you're able to bring in more money. You're able to connect with your donors more easily, and you're able to save yourself time, most importantly in some cases, in doing so. So definitely, if you're looking at systems, even if you're not looking at Mission Suite, find a system that can do it all in one, because it's going to help you in the long run. It's going to help you. I mean, your results will skyrocket. I can promise you that. So, if you want to see Mission Suite to yourself, we've got a link to the right of the screen, so that you can schedule a call or just sign up for a demo of Mission Suite. And I definitely would love to have you take a look at our system, see how Mission Suite can help you and your organization specifically, and then see how we can help you grow. So with that, I'm going to say thank you very much again for your time. If you do have any questions, again, there's the question form to the right of this slideshow here that you can fill out, or you can shoot me an email or give me a phone call. I mean, that's my phone number, that's my email address. Both go directly to me. So if I can do anything to help you out, please, by all means, let me know. And again, thank you so very much for your time. I hope you have a great day.